In this episode, we're going to learn a little bit more about the Geometry Dash editor, and we're also going to apply our design to the entirety of the first part. Then we're going to add a little bit of air deco here and there. Alright, so next up we have, what I want to do is a simple spike pit. So I want to do a simple spike pit like so. I'm going to show you that like that. Then I want to copy and paste it, and then I want to make it full of spikes. It is very important when you're making a Geometry Dash featured worthy level that you leave no empty spaces. So what this means is that instead of having this, we're actually going to also add a new block in here. And then maybe we can add a, I don't know, like a saw blade in here or something. It's going to make it feel like it's not empty, right? Because right now it is very empty, which is one of the reasons why I want to add this spike pit. And I'm actually kind of unhappy with the spike, to be completely honest with you. After looking at it for a while, I kind of feel like it doesn't fit too much with gameplay. I mean, with the design, with the pixel art. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a pixel art spike, because I think that would make a lot more sense. And you guys see that something like this will also happen to you, where you add something, and then the more time you spend in the editor, the more you realize how it just doesn't fit that much. So then your sharp eyes kind of detect it, and then you decide to change that. So that is very important if you kind of see something that is, you know, not fitting. If you see something that doesn't fit that much with that thingy, you just get rid of it and replace it with something else, you know? It's really not that hard. So for the spikes, I wanted to use a different color. So I'm going to use the same colors as previously, and now I'm going to make them a different color, because I'm going to make them red and like that. So red, and the B goes a bit kind of like very bright like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, I think this one just fits so much better. We can add these guys on top, and yeah. Now it's important with these guys that you have to add hitbox to these guys. So every single object that is in the pixel art, all of these guys, they don't have hitbox. So if you enable hitboxes, you guys can see that there is nothing. You guys can't see because there's nothing. So I like to add an invisible spike behind these. So just add one of these guys over here. Give them a random color. I like to do 5 and then make it black, and then blending. Black blending makes it invisible. Now you guys can see that there's a hitbox, but the spike is disappeared, which is awesome. This is, wow. You guys see, this looks much better. Okay, now you see a mistake I made was that I forgot to copy and paste the spike to somewhere else so that I can actually use it again later. So I'm gonna do that right now. So this is the spike. And this one, we can just get rid of it, and boom, we have a spike over there. You can link it if you want to, but I don't like doing that. So now, yeah, this looks, now you can just copy and paste it, and this looks just so much better. I absolutely love it. This is very nice. Okay, now I want to see how am I going to decorate this one. Just to make sure you come up with the right ideas. It doesn't really make that much sense to just do what's there. Sometimes you just have to get around it somehow, and to make it look cool. So in this case, this actually doesn't look that bad. And this is starting to look pretty good, I must say. So I kind of want to add the structure that is on top over here. So the first thing, as always, is we want to add these guys. Add them, rotate them, make them look nice, and like that. Now, there is a small problem here, is that Geometry Dash users don't like levels when they have this type of structure. So this is like, you guys can see that this one is like a 4 block from here to here. And then the one above it is also 4 blocks. So it looks like as if this is all like, it's all going in one direction, you can say, or it is the exact same length. So what I like to do is kind of just give it a expansion over there so that it doesn't look like it's, you know, one thing, right? You guys will see that this will make a lot of difference later in the thing. And now we want to copy and paste this one as always, and then layering, right? We want to go here, go really fast because we are on speedrun mode over here. Like that, copy and paste. And then the shading, of course, move it there, select 2, copy. And then these guys. And what's interesting is that if you have a block that has 3, so if this block, let's say, went to here, you can just copy and paste this twice, because now you have 1 particle on each side, which takes perfectly exactly 3 blocks, that's exactly what we want. This is perfect. Okay, so now we want to get rid of these guys, and we want to add 1 particle in the center. that's gonna have a larger pos var with a larger amount, and this looks about right. Nice. Okay, so what else is there? There's also this thing, so we want to copy like that, put this in here, and then copy and paste that one. And I believe there's also the glow, which I have... Ah, there it is. The glow is also there. Let's go. Okay, awesome. Now this looks nice, but I like to always add some stuff on the structures on top. So for example, I like to do maybe like that. You guys see? It's starting to look much, much cleaner. And this whole thing, it doesn't look finished, right? The level just doesn't feel like it's a featured-worthy level. And the reason for that is because the background is very, very empty. We're gonna get into decorating the background and adding air deco and more effects to make it just feel like a featured-worthy level, which is what we're aiming for in this video, right? We're gonna aim for a featured-worthy level for you guys. Now, this is when you have a lot of structures, you can just start copying and pasting because it just makes everything a lot easier. Now, it is very important to be careful when you copy and paste because you don't want to make it too obvious that you copy and paste it. I've seen people like copying a whole part and then just pasting it somewhere. That's not really how it works in GD. Like, you could do that, but it's not going to look good and it's going to look like it's going to look copy and pasted. So when I'm going to select it, okay, now you guys see that I forgot this layout thingy. So I'm going to copy and paste, boom, delete, and add this one. Now you guys will start to see that the blocks are looking kind of too similar. They look kind of like they are copy and pasted, but we're going to come to a nice solution at the end, which is going to get rid of this copy and paste factor without actually changing the design or anything. So that's going to be very cool. Okay, so double spike in here. So what we want to do is we want to yoink these guys, copy and paste them, remove this, and put them in there instead. Nice. Okay, this is looking good. I like it. Okay, now I set a spike trap over here, or a spike pit like that. So what I want to do is I actually want to add a little bit of variance into this one. Why? Because it's a long pit, and if it was all like so, it would be, doesn't look that good. We want something a bit better looking. This looks way too repetitive, and like I said at the beginning, we don't want to have any repetitiveness. So what you can do is we want to select all of these guys only, and then we want to double them and then move them to the right, and then we're going to do this. We're going to use the scale. Use this one. I'm going to show you what this one is. So if you scale normally, you guys can see how they are all scaling from this center outside. And if you click on this one, each individual one is going to be scaled on its own, which sometimes can be extremely helpful. And you guys can see this list looks so much better as opposed to, you know, having, this is so cool, like up and down, as opposed to one single line. And I'm also actually thinking of maybe I could do that in here as well. I'm going to get rid of these guys and add those ones instead. So like that, and this is, that is much, much cleaner looking. Okay, so now we also have a style of the level kind of going up and down slowly. But yeah, now we want to add glow on top of this. And look at this. So now we don't no longer have to change the particle because we already have a particle for a 2 blocked, for a 3, for a 4, and also for a 5. So now we can just copy the 5 and then copy and paste it and then move it 5 to the right like that. And you have a particle. Nice. Now we can snap it. And this is excellent so far. I like it. Alright, so it is important to also add, I don't know if you want to, but you could add jump indicators, but this is not really anything that is, necessary for you to get a featured level. I'm also kind of unhappy with the ground spikes, so I might actually also change those. Also, the lava doesn't make that much sense because we are in a pixel art level. It is important to only use pixel art if you are in a pixel art level. Unless you really know what you're doing, then you can start using some other stuff, but... So I'm going to use this lava pool, which is a pixel art lava pool. I'm going to paste the color and see how it looks. So I feel like this one should be a bit darker and that one can go a bit brighter. Maybe this one can go... Actually, I might have the lava pool as red. Yeah, this one doesn't look that bad. And now we can get rid of all these guys. You guys already know the select filter works like a charm. And now we want to add a glow like that, and actually I might get rid of these guys. I'm not too sure though. Let me see how it looks first. Okay, so this doesn't look that bad. It looks very polished, I must say. So we want to do this, add that, and then what else? We can add a glow with that color, and then perhaps make it more reddish, something like that. Yeah, you guys can see that the glow coming from below is actually kind of nice looking, like I must say. I might add more to the lava pool over here because I still feel like it's unfinished or something. But one thing we can add right now, an idea that I had, and this is really all decorating is about, is just what ideas you can come up with. And if you can't come up with an idea, it is important to kind of, stop editing, stop going into the editor and do something else, and then come back later. Maybe you will have more ideas. So doing something like this, I always like doing that, kind of making like a black and white structure, which you saw we did by simply copy and pasting this and then making the saturation at 0 and this one also 0. And then you can change the brightness to make it really dark. And then you're going to have this, yeah, this is a very nice looking structure. And now with this one, we can go up all the way. And you see it doesn't look that good because there's just something wrong. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to move this a little bit to the left. See how it looks. Not good still. I'm going to do that perhaps. And now we copy, paste, and make it really dark so that it fits the color of that guy. Make it behind. You guys already know how all this stuff works. And make these guys in front. Okay, so this one I believe is having a way too high bead Z layer. Like that. Yeah, that's nice. This is pretty good. Okay, still the level doesn't look that good. We're gonna get into the air deco later as well, but I just want to see if there's anything I can teach you while making this block design. So in here, you gotta be careful because the particle that we copied is actually taking these two spots. So if you delete this one, you can't delete the particle because, yeah, it's taking all of this space as well. So we want to make it kind of small and reduce the amount so that we can kind of move it towards here so that it kind of fits in here as well. Perfect. And now what we want to do is we want to recreate this structure in a much beautiful looking way. So in here, a corner, and a corner right there. And that's all we need. And now we can do this, remove the hitboxes so we can see what's going on. And in here, how do I want to do this? Okay, so there are two ways to do blocks that are no longer just a square. So this one kind of goes into like these edges. And also, if you guys are doing this while using these blocks, it is very important to fill in these edges. As you guys can see, it's like a missing pixel. So you want to add this block right here. This one, add it and then rotate it. Add it and then rotate it like that. This looks much, much better. It is a very small detail and a lot of people get really upset about it. But yeah, adding it is also pretty easy. So why not doing it? So what we can do is we can do this. Look at this. So what we can do is have that and then copy and paste this one. And then copy and paste that one and then do something like this. So this is the first option that we could do. And then kind of add like a black shadow, basically like that. So we could do that. And honestly, I saw that looked pretty good. So I might actually go for that. But I just want to show you the second option that we could do, which basically makes it all go from as if it's like one object as opposed to three different platforms, right? And for that, I believe we're going to use this one. I'm not too sure because these guys just have to experiment with them and find the perfect block. Okay, that is the perfect for here. And that's for there, boom, like that. And now you can fill in these guys. And by the way, if you guys saw, if I select this one, this is the one that is selected. Now I can place it and it automatically takes all of the values that are here and applies them to the new added object. So if I just add this one, it's going to be white. But if I select this one before and then I do that, it's going to take all of these properties, which is why I always select and then start spamming, right? Okay, so which one looks better? I kind of feel like the one on the bottom actually does look better. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And yeah, now we're going to go to the bits of a harder process because the structure of the block has changed slightly. So we're going to see if that's going to bring us any challenges. So far, I don't really see anything being that difficult. We just have to fill in these guys. Make sure you fill them in the right way, because the way this shadow, for example, works is everywhere where the block is exposed to the left or the right side, we want to add shadow to that. So in here, and also in here, and also in there and in there, right? This is where the block is exposed to the outside. So from the left and also from the right. So we're going to copy this one, and then this is a third block, perfect. And then we want to take maybe a 5 block, or yeah, I think this particle should fit perfectly in here like that. And the reason why I'm not adding any moving blocks anymore is because it's important to first finish the design and then adding these guys, because otherwise, if I moved this platform and gave it a group ID of, I don't know, 12, then if I copy the particle, it's going to have the ID of 12 and I would have to change it. So that would be one more step for every copy and paste you do. So yeah, you want to just keep an eye on that. And we have a 2 over here, so we can just copy a 1 twice, and then we have a nice little particle. Okay, now we can disable the particles, and okay, I just deleted the particle from there. That's not good. This is our base thingy. We can't just leave that like that. Okay, this one we can just copy and paste as it is, and that one like that. And I believe maybe there is I actually want to see if there is a highlight block like these ones for the corner, because I think there is. There is this one. You see, it's very, very... Is it that one? Let me check. So we want to first copy and paste the color to it by clicking on copy values of the others. And yeah, this does seem like it is the right one. Actually, I kind of feel like without it is much cleaner looking. So I'm not going to use these guys. I'm just going to put the highlights on the blocks that are very straight and going up, right? Like that, yeah. This is, as you guys can see, this block looks really nice because we are taking it from a reference that we have organized in layers. Very important. All right, I actually kind of, I'm falling in love with this lava pool. I think it's pretty cool. And what else do we want to do now? So now we're going to fall in here and we could do this structure. So this is also gets a bit interesting. So in here, what you guys might do is simply just, I'm just going to copy and paste this one and from here to there. So we're going to do from here to there. Then I'm just going to copy these guys, boom, 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 boom. And yeah, you guys might do something like this, but it doesn't look that great because the player is walking on too much area where they see the same block under them. Like it's a whole big platform, and I don't like that. So you gotta come up with your own ideas on how to improve this. Now there are different ways in which you can do this. And what I'm thinking of, since there are 2 spikes in there, what I'm gonna do is, first of all, step number 1 is I'm gonna put these spikes where they are supposed to be. And then I'm gonna fix the particles because they are very annoying when they are like that. And you don't want to do that, so this one, and then that one, and then the final one, it should be like that. You can align them on the X, so if you have 4, but the distance between them is not the same, you can click here and then align X, which is all going to make the distance between them the same, which is going to give a lot of a cooler thingy, right? Right, so I want to do it like this, but then I want to add a twist to it, so... If we go to one of RobTop's levels, it is called what's it called? The sewers, right? The sewers, I have it in here, which, by the way, if you guys want to have these levels as well in the editor, what you gotta do is go to an account called Rob's Vault, click that, and then go to the search for users, and then go to this guy on the levels, and then you can see all RobTop levels. So the Secret Hollow, the old version, the Secret Hollow, the current version, the cellar, the sewers, which is what we copied, the platformer level. And there's also a list so that this is the tower levels, the 4, and then Geometry Dash Meltdown, World, Sub-Zero, and the old levels, Beta, you don't really need these, but Geometry Dash Levels, Stereo Madness, Back on Track, all of these guys, 100% like the full version without any changes or any weird stuff. So you can yoink those guys, and then you can search for the sewers and go into that guy. And if you go up, you can see this beautiful looking object, which honestly looks very, very nice. Now you could copy it and then paste it in the other level, but that would be not so great. Why? Because it wouldn't copy the colors, because the color channels in here are much different than the color channels in your level. So what we want to do is we want to copy it with its colors. And you do that by clicking here and copy plus color. Now, before I do that, I actually also want to grab this thing. And is there anything cool RobTop added that we can steal? Maybe this torch. This torch looks also pretty nice, so I might yoink it as well. So we want to copy that torch, put it in here. And now all of these guys we want to copy. So select them, copy plus color, exit the level, and then go to your level. and make paste plus color. And now you guys can see that they have the exact same color that they had back in the sewers. And this is perfect because now I can simply do that and yeah, it doesn't look that bad. However, there is a small problem here, is that the glow in there is actually below this thing. So I want to try to see how it's going to look if it was above it. For that, we're just going to have to bring this one back to T1, and I'm going to do one above and one under. Which one looks better? I feel like if it's under, it looks much cleaner, so I'm just going to add it under the glow. And this way we have this looks pretty clean. And if you want to be a bit more fancy, what you can do is add shadow. So this and then that, gonna do it like this, and then add like a little bit of scale, and then give it this color, the black 30 opacity that we gave it, and then put it kind of behind this thing, so you can gotta figure out what the Z layer is and the B. Like that sounds good, so you can see it, and now you can expand it. And I kind of feel like it should be a bit of a higher opacity, so we're going to use a different color, give it maybe 50% should be good. And if you don't want to like mess with this slider, there's actually also an opacity in here, so you can do it like that, right? Okay, so now I realize I made a big mistake, is that I used a color that was used by the spikes. So you guys can see if I change the color of this, the spikes get changed as well. That is very bad. You don't want to do that, which is why I'm going to bring back the color to as it used to be. And in here, click on next free. It is very important. You guys see, I made a mistake of using a color that was already used. And now we're going to use the next free color. This one has not been used, so we're going to try out that one, right? And now, yeah, see you guys, let's add a little bit of shading behind them to make them look like they are in the front. And they already look pretty nice. And this one, placing it in here, just kind of gives it a bit more vibes, more dungeony vibes. Is always pretty good. Just, you know, spam them here and there. Just don't exaggerate because they might look terrible then. But yeah, I think this is fair. We can figure out more, you know, random stuff to put here and there in the level. So we can put this torch, for example, every here and there. Like here, for example, sounds good. Or actually in there is even better. Yeah, like that. And yeah, looking pretty good so far. So we're adding like random like air deco, or like any deco you want to call it, throughout the level, just to make it look cleaner, right? Instantly when I get an idea, I just add it instantly before I forget it or something gets into my mind. So nice. Now we also want to add the shading. You guys see, when you get into far into the level, you kind of forget adding the stuff that you added before, which is not good. You gotta add all of the details that you added to the other blocks to the new blocks that you add as well. So this is yeah, this is gonna look much cleaner, as you guys can see. Now the lava pool, we're gonna yoink the lava pool. You want to steal the lava pool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to layer 0, because the lava pool is on layer 0. We're gonna paste it in here, and we're gonna remove these guys. Maybe we're gonna remove the one in the center as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this one, move that one away, and then this spike trap can go over there. And then for this one, we might add like a smaller one, smaller spikes like that. Yeah, that sounds good. And now we can move it up, and boom, it looks pretty cool. I kind of like this. This is actually turning out pretty good. Now you guys can see that this doesn't look that good. This looks bad. The shadow in here looks bad. So select them, and actually let me see what this one is on. So B2. And I kind of want to have these guys on a lower than B2, so maybe B3 should be behind. Yeah, this is now behind the glow. This looks much cleaner now, and you guys are doing some excellent progress. If you guys made it this far, you guys can see that we're slowly getting into making a featured level. But again, what is important is that you come up with your own ideas. I'm just showing you the, you know, the stuff that you can do. And by making this level, even if you recreate it on your own by just following the tutorial, that's gonna help you a lot improve by, you know, just getting used to the editor, getting used to the shortcuts in GD, making you a faster creator. That is gonna help you a lot. Or by rewatching certain, you know, certain areas of the video, is gonna make you a much better creator. So now what we're gonna do is, you guys can see that in here it looks pretty nice, not bad, but in here it kind of feels empty, and that's because again, we need to add some random blocks. And it is important before you add these random blocks that you actually playtest and see where your player goes to make sure you don't add stuff on top of, on top of the path. So you don't want to have a spike here, right? That would be a bad idea. I want to have a spike somewhere in here. So what I want to do is actually the first thing I want to do is add like an edge over there. And then I kind of want to follow this kind of structuring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something like this. Yep, I think this looks pretty nice. And I don't want this to be too long because otherwise it would look too repetitive with the one below it. So perhaps something like that should be... yeah, I can just blur my eyes and see if it looks good or not. And this time I feel like it's gonna be good. So we want to yoink this one, copy and paste, Control D, and then that. Then we want to move it like this, copy and paste, copy and paste. See, like if you guys know how to use copy and paste, you can use it and not make it feel like copy and paste, because a lot of people get really upset because people use copy and paste a lot. It actually can get you into some controversies. So you just have to know how to use copy and paste, because copy and paste is an option. It is very, very helpful. You should just know how to use it. It's not the copy and paste's fault. It's the fault of the user, whoever is abusing it or not knowing how to use it. So now you guys can see this is literally a perfect glow. We can just copy and paste it in here and looks pretty nice. And as a result, I think this one is also going to be very similar. So what we're going to have is something like this. And then these guys can kind of go like that. And you can copy and paste the glow, of course, and make sure you don't forget to do this. Nice. All right, look at it. Look at it. This is beautiful looking. And to make sure that they actually look different than the one above, I'm gonna add some ground spikes. These guys, not ground spikes, these random spikes that we added. You guys can see that we can't see some spikes over there. There's some problems with the overlaying. That's because this guy is way too in the front, and like that looks much cleaner. And we're gonna, okay, so now this guy is also a bit weird, so you gotta align them perfectly. Just take a look at your level every now and then. Certain parts may break for some reason, and just make sure it doesn't happen too often. So like that, and then this, and then delete those guys. And you have spikes. Well, let's go. All right, nice. This is looking pretty clean so far. Also want to change the color of this one because it didn't really look that good. Maybe something like that is much better. And because this looks a bit weird because it's the only object that's kind of yellow, so what we want to do is we actually want to add more things that are similar to this object to make it look less repetitive over here. So what we can do is just add like random boxes here and there. Like this one, for example, we can scale it down, kind of make it like that. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Just take a look that you don't abuse them too much, because otherwise that would not be that very cool. All right, nice. This is looking a lot cleaner than what we started with. And in here, I actually would like to leave it empty. Why? Because I'm going to have the level name. So level name, it's going to basically do like a nice animation, and by X creator goal. That's what I know. And by the way, Y Creator Goal is actually my second channel. I have a main channel called X Creator Goal where I do a lot of cool videos about GD. And yeah, so level name by X Creator Goal. So this one is like gonna be like an empty space extra for the name, and gonna be pretty cool. That's it for this episode. In the next episode, we're gonna add some rotating saw blades that are custom made, and we're also gonna make the first part look much better.